Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria and today I'm doing my February TBR. It's nuts to me that it's already time for February's TBR. January went very fast, yet also very slow because I had a very hard time for almost the entirety of January picking up books. I felt very conflicted about what I wanted to read. I felt very mood reader-ish. I'm gonna zoom in, hang on a second. And very like, I would pick up a book, read 2 pages of it, put it back down. Pick up a different one, read 2 pages, put it back down. Like they weren't catching my attention. So I had a hard time with that. But I am hoping that I am over that and that I can get into it more in February, be better about picking up ones that I want. But because of that and my inability to figure out what the hell I want, I picked very few, like it's not a lot of books on my February TBR. I'm just gonna go really light, and hopefully that'll just take a little bit of the like pressure, non-existent, but pressure that I somehow feel off of my shoulders and I can pick up books that I actually want to read, I guess. I don't know. Also, during the month of February, there is Fantasy Romance February, or FaRoFeb, that I will be participating in. It is a fantasy romance event, basically, that happens for the entire month of February, and there is a readathon that happens in the second week of February, which I will be participating in, and I will be vlogging. And then the rest of the month they have other events going on, so like virtual things like author interviews and reading sprints and stuff like that. And they're going to be like books on sale and all that stuff. I'll link their website down below. But I will be participating in the readathon and I will be vlogging it, so I have a couple of fantasy romances that I have written down also that maybe I'll try and get to during that readathon. The entirely new release that I will be reading in February on the day that it releases is Crescent City Book 2, House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. This is, like I said, Crescent City Book 2. I absolutely adore Crescent City. It is maybe tied as my favorite Sarah J. Maas book, very high up there with A Court of Mist and Fury for me. So I absolutely adore this book and I'm so excited to read book 2. I cannot wait. I have it pre-ordered on all platforms and I will be reading it the day that it comes out, which I believe is February 15th. One that I have that the audiobook releases in February but is already out is one that I actually have a physical copy of, and that is Encore by Eden Finley. I have read the rest of this series. This is the Famous series. It's about a group of pop stars and they were in a boy band along when they were younger and have been broken up, and it's each of their romances like after they've broken up out of the boy band. And this is the last book and I have been waiting for the audiobook in order to read it, and the audiobook releases in the beginning of February, so I will be reading that one. Okay, so some of the ones that I have on my list that I want to get to are Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I read Twisted Love for the Romance Takeover Readathon in January, and I really enjoyed it, and I really want to read book 2. It is the one that I originally wanted to read like more than the first one, but I was told to read the first one first, so I have Twisted Games on my TBR for February. This one is a bodyguard romance. She's a princess. She gets a new bodyguard, and her new bodyguard is like super hot, and so they have a romance. Then I want to read a historical romance. That's literally what I wrote down, a historical romance. I don't know which historical romance that I want to read, but I'm really been in a historical romance mood lately, and I keep picking up ones and putting them down, and I just like really want to find one that I can like keep my attention. I'm like looking at my historical romance shelf behind me over here. I'm thinking maybe The Bride by Julie Garwood. That was one that was on my 5-star predictions list. So maybe that one. Or starting a Lorraine Heath. Or continuing with the Hathaways or the Wallflowers series by Lisa Kleypas. I'm not sure. I keep picking up new ones and I keep not wanting those ones. And the ones that I keep picking up are like newer releases. Or like newer historical, so maybe I just have to go old school and try and do like an older historical, and that'll be better. I rewatched Bridgerton season 1 in preparation for Bridgerton season 2 coming out soon, and that really put me in like a historical romance mood. Like I was like fully back in my like I love Bridgerton moment, which was great. And so now I really want to read some historical romances. I just don't know which ones, so making the TBR was hard, but I want to read historical romance. Then the next ones that I want to read are Broken Vow and Heavy Crown by Sophie Lark, both by Sophie Lark. These are book 5 and 6, I believe, in the Brutal Birthright series. This is the last 2 books in the Brutal Birthright series. I read the first 4 in January. And I want to read the last 2 in February, and then I can start Kingmakers. I'm very excited. I am fully like cruising through the Brutal Birthright series. I really love it. I'm very much enjoying myself. They're such good mafia romances, dark romance, really great alpha type heroes, some good touch her and you die vibes, really into it. Very, very strong heroines, which I really love, so I'm into it. Love the family structures. So good. Okay, then I want to read Breath of Fire by Amanda Boucher. This is a fantasy romance. Getting into the fantasy romances a little bit now. I read book 1 in this series, which is A Promise of Fire, last year, and I loved it. Gave it 5 stars, and I never continued with book 2. I don't know why. I just never picked it up after I finished book 1. But it is on my series I want to finish in 2022 video. I'll link that video above. I recently talked about this series in that video, and I really want to get to it. I'm very excited about it. I love Kat. She is badass. Kat is a kingmaker. She can tell when people are lying, and it's very political because a lot of like leaders of want a kingmaker because it allows them to tell when people are lying. So she's very much hunted. There's a great romance in it. Her and Griffin, I think his name is Griffin, are really, really cute together, and I really liked it. So I'm very excited to get to book 2. I will probably read this during the readathon. Then I want to read Witches Get Stitches by Juliet Cross. I had this on my January TBR, and I changed my mind and I'm switching it to February's TBR because I was possibly thinking about maybe reading it for FaRoFeb. It's listed as paranormal. I really honestly don't know the difference between paranormal because when you look it up, I looked it up on the internet. That's how I was confused when I looked it up on the internet. And when you look it up, what's the difference between paranormal romance and fantasy romance? It talks about the different creatures that are in it, but I've read fantasy romances that have vampires in it. I've read paranormal romances that have vampires in it. I've read fantasy romances that have werewolves in it. I've read paranormal romances that have werewolves in it. So I really don't understand. So if somebody could explain to me what the actual like technical definition is, please let me know. But until then, I'm possibly gonna sneak Witches Get Stitches into my FaRoFeb TBR. This is book 3 in the Stay a Spell series by Juliet Cross. I absolutely love this series. It takes place in New Orleans. The magic system is great. I really love the whole way that she describes everything. The romances are adorable and the sisters are amazing. Then the next one that I have is Entreat Me by Grace Draven. This one, I recently in January read my first Grace Draven book, which was Radiance, and I gave it 3 stars because it was boring. The plot, the storyline was boring, but the romance was incredible. So I want to try another Grace Draven, which has a different plot, which will hopefully be a little bit more interesting and intriguing to me, but still has that like killer romance. So I'm hoping that Intrigue will do that. I know it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I adore Beauty and the Beast retellings, so I'm hoping that that will like make me really love it. So I've heard great things about it. People have been reading it recently. Jen, Crystal, a whole bunch of people have recently read it and loved it, so I'm gonna try it. Then I have The Fae Kings Curse by Jamie Schlosser. This one is one that I just talked about in my Kindle Unlimited TBR. I have this checked out on Kindle Unlimited. Jen from the Book Refuge was talking about this series in a live show, and I went and downloaded it during the live show. I don't remember exactly what it's about. I'm assuming that there's a curse on a Fae King, you know, deduction. But I remember like thinking about it and being like, that sounds interesting. I want to read that one. And so again, I thought that would be a good one to read for FaRoFeb. Then the only other one that I have written down is that I'd really like to do a reread of Crescent City before I read book 2. She's long, but worth it. I adore this book. Like I said, this will probably be my 4th or 5th time rereading this book. This is the UK paperback exclusive edition. I am very excited to do a reread. It's been a while since I last reread it. It's been a while since I last read it, so I am excited because I love Sarah J. Maas's writing, and I haven't read a Sarah J. Maas book since A Court of Silver Flames came out. So I am very excited to go back into this book and be involved in it again. Before book 2, it'll get me like even more hyped for book 2 to come out. That's all the ones that I've got though. That's it for this video, so please let me know what you're reading down below. Give this video a like if you liked it, and subscribe so you can see me in my next one. Bye!